Everyone knows that penguins are birds, but no one has seen them fly. That's because they don't. But why is that so? If they could fly, it would probably be easier for them to survive in this world. For example, a little penguin could just fly away from any danger. Of all modern birds, penguins have best adapted to living in the aquatic environment, becoming the seals of the avian world. Like seals, they need land mainly for procreation. For the sake of the aquatic lifestyle, penguins had to sacrifice the grace of their figure, the speed and the dexterity of their movements on land and ice, and most importantly, their ability to fly. In order to get the best possible food, fish, cephalopods, and small crustaceans, the animal has to be well adapted to water almost as well as its prey, or at least be able to match it in speed and maneuverability. Penguins are able to reach swimming speeds of up to 10 to 14 kilometers per hour, and in case of danger, they accelerate and jump onto the shore or ice, going up by 1.5 to 2 meters. Large species can stay underwater for over 18 minutes, while diving to a depth of 260 meters. What's interesting is that the penguin's closest relatives are petrels and albatrosses, which are two of the best flying birds in the world. These groups have a common flying ancestor, but they separated about 60 million years ago. Since penguins nest mainly in isolated areas, adult penguins have virtually no natural enemies on land. However, mammals introduced by humans, such as dogs and cats, pose a serious threat to them. Penguins use their beak and fins for self-defense, which makes for effective weapons. But chicks left without parental supervision become easy prey for the brown skua. This video shows falcons attacking a clumsy little penguin, and it seems that it had no chance of surviving. Although it desperately tries to escape, it did the best it could. But how can one little and clumsy bird fight off a whole flock of birds of prey? It was clearly an unequal fight, and the baby penguin had already lost hope of escaping the predators, but help came from the least expected place. It was ducks who took on the role of the lifesavers. They immediately rushed to attack the offenders. Their smart and well-coordinated actions chased away the predators, as they didn't expect this kind of development of events. The little penguin was safe. It seems that there might be a lot we don't know about ducks. The little penguin is alive for now. However, the penguin's chances of survival for the first 12 months are rather low. For example, only about half of all the chicks of the Adelie penguin survive the first year of life. The decisive factor is the reserves of fat accumulated while living in the colony, which in turn depends on the quality of its feeding, that is, on the parents' success as hunters. The chances of survival for adults are much higher. They range from 70 to 80 in small Adelaide penguins, and are as high as 90% in large emperor penguins. Penguins have a lifespan of over 25 years. Penguins have a reputation for being very funny and somewhat awkward birds, but it's easy to see why they can't fly and often bump into each other, falling and stumbling. However, predators shouldn't underestimate them. One of the patrol birds, which hoped for an easy meal, made a big mistake and attacked a group of emperor penguins. The penguin chicks went into the sea without parental supervision for the first time, and the patrol pounced on them, which shouldn't have been a problem for the predator. At first, the chicks tried to escape on land, but one of them slipped and fell. The patrol grabbed it by its neck with its strong beak, but a tactical fall allowed the chick to escape and run back to its group. Then the chicks gathered in a defensive circle, which allowed them to protect each other from all sides. After a tense standoff, an adult penguin arrived and finally chased the patrol away, forcing it to flee. Those were some courageous penguins who could fight off the enemy. Did you know that Antarctica isn't the only natural habitat of penguins? They can also be seen in warm regions. For example, the Galapagos penguin can be found a few kilometers away from the equator, and its relatives can also be seen in southern Africa, New Zealand, and Peru. But it is during your trip to the high southern latitudes that you will meet the most penguin species. What are the kinds of penguins that are found in Antarctica? There are 3 species of penguins most commonly found in the region: Gentoo, chinstrap, and Adelaide penguins. Several other species are common on the island of South Georgia and in the Falklands: Macaroni, crested king, and Magellanic penguins. They share beaches with seals and other representatives of the Antarctic fauna, and sometimes even with each other. You can often find as many as 3 kinds of penguins in one place. Gentoo penguins can be recognized by their white triangular spots above their head and their bright orange beak. These sociable birds prefer to stick together and form colonies as close to the shore as possible. Gentoo penguins are the fastest swimmers of all species. The chinstrap penguin is dressed in a strict black and white suit and even has a black beak, but it also has a distinctive feature that doesn't allow it to be confused with anyone else: a black stripe on the chin going from ear to ear against the background of a white front. Chinstrap penguins are skilled climbers who use their beaks as pickaxes to climb icy slopes and rocky cliffs. They build their nests there and fiercely defend them against predators and overly curious visitors. The Adelaide penguin was named by the French explorer Jules Dumont d'Urville after his wife Adelaide. These are small birds, the most elegant and serious of all penguins. Their stern look, accentuated by white rings around their eyes, is comically combined with a funny waddling gait. These penguins are actually very gullible and even somewhat resemble humans in their habits. In his first voyage around the world-famous Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan found himself in Patagonia, the southern tip of South America. There he discovered the habitat of one of the penguin species, which were later named after him. It's been said that looking from afar, Magellan didn't realize he saw birds at first. He thought that it was the locals. Macaroni penguins got their name back in the 18th century for their conspicuous yellow crest. Macaroni was the term for a particular style famous in England at the time, which was marked by excessive ornamentation. And the crested penguins, also known as rockhopper penguins, are named because they live on the coastal rocks, where they hop from one place to another, making nests in thickets of tall grass. You can see both of these penguins in the sub-Antarctic, for example, in the Falkland Islands and South Georgia. King penguins are the second largest kind of penguins after the emperor penguins. They are smaller in size, but they compensate for it with brighter coloring. Adult king penguins have large red spots on the chest and on the head. Otherwise, they're of the usual black and white color. So do you now want to go on an expedition cruise to Antarctica and the Southern Ocean Islands to get to personally observe the amazing animals, both on land and in the water?